Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still live from the beautiful ESL Studio in Burbank, California. Our live audience is having a lot of fun because they know that food is on the way as well. That's why they're so excited. As a reminder, make sure to check out the Red Bull Battlegrounds happening next weekend. $25,000 prize pool, 4,000 WCS points, 128-man open tournament. It's at the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta. And the winner gets an invitation to the Red Bull Battlegrounds Grand Finals happening in Washington, D.C. later in the year. Now, if you were not able to sign up for the Red Bull Battlegrounds, you can sign up for the qualifier for the Challenger League. All you have to do is go to nationalesl.com/US/SC2 for more information. There's multiple cups, regional cups, and a lot more opportunities for those that want to participate in WCS, that feel that they can go toe-to-toe with some of these players here we're seeing in the round of 16. Still a lot of prize money, a lot of opportunities for players around the world, but especially here in America. And as a reminder, make sure to check in with us this Saturday and Sunday, because happening at 3 o'clock is going to be the round of 8, and then on Sunday, it'll... Hold on, sorry. I got to take this call. I'm sorry. Hello? Hey, Kevin? How's it going, man? Good, good. I'm hosting WCS America right now, round of 16. Yeah, hey, are you doing anything this weekend? Hey, do you want to be one of the commentators for WCS? Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, I'll buy you one lunch, just one. All right, 2. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Okay, all right, QXC. Really good to talk to you. All right, man. Okay, sushi, you got it. I'll see you this weekend. All right, cool. Talk to you later, man. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, QXC is going to be here this weekend. The Tiger Terran. And I have one more special announcement. I'm going to have to do an impression, because I like doing voices from StarCraft. And if the crowd knows who I am, I want you to yell it out, okay? Hail, it's about time. Somebody yelled Abathur. Lack of essence. That's different voice. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Neil Kaplan, the man behind Tychus Finley, is going to be here this Saturday. So you want to get your pictures, get some autographs. He's also going to be doing a couple of the player introductions as well. You don't want to miss it. For more information, make sure to follow us at ESL on Twitter and also hashtag WCS. Back to the commentators. Gentlemen.
What a man and what an actor, Johan. I'm so glad that Josh is part of our crew. But of course, it's awesome news for us as we already have 3 Terrans making it to the round of 8. And there's a very good chance that we'll have 4, perhaps even 5. So who better to accompany us throughout the weekend and provide some expert Terran analysis, even though, Nate, you're really good as well. But Nate, as good as you are, you know QXC.
I'm glad you guys are finally bringing in some real pro gamers to do the analysis, because this is, yeah. QXC, I really like QXC personally, so I'm glad he's going to be coming here. He was one of my suggestions, actually, for the job, even though my word doesn't matter, I guess. Yeah, much love to you, QXC. Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. You guys may have seen QXC doing some analysis in the previous seasons of either WCS America or in Intel Extreme Masters. He was part of IEM in Poland as well, not the last one in Katowice, but the one before that. Well, that was CBIT, never mind. Either way, he's been doing it a little bit over the years, and we're very excited to have QXC with us next weekend, because it's going to be awesome. We want to go all out. We want to put on one hell of a show, and hopefully it's going to be amazing, Johan. I think we're looking at a very fun weekend. We already have Zergs, we already have Protoss, we already have 3 Terrans, and of course, by the end of the day, we'll know if it's going to be 4 or perhaps even 5 Terrans. But for now, we're going to get ready for our lower bracket match, and we have 2 amazing players standing on our stage, but let's take a look at their bio cards first, because that is important as well. So keep a close eye on their WCS ranks and all the good things in life. Over here we have Arthur, also known as Sad Arthur, and he doesn't look that sad on the picture. He looks pretty badass, actually.
He's either angry or very, very sad, and he's holding tears.
Well, why would he? He's at WCS America round of 16 and he can still make it to the round of 8. This is not the right time and place to be sad, Johan.
I don't know.
Well, perhaps he's sad because he had a Roddy Mothership core, but other than that, he has absolutely no reason to be sad. Arthur is going to go up against our very own Mexican Terran player, which is, of course, Juanito. Juan played fantastic in his first series today against Violet. I think all 3 games were very fun to watch. Game 1, I would almost say legendary. I really love that picture of Juan, by the way. He looks so cool. That is the coolest I've Juan ever seen. Look at it. Look at those guns.
The weightlifting player from Mexico here.
He's our North American target. That's what he is. He could deadlift you, Johan. That's how strong MajOr is.
I thought I was in control.
Yeah, I mean Jeff too. But I mean Jeff's from America. MajOr's from Mexico.
If we look at the stats here, I was looking through some statistics. I think I'm gonna say statistically speaking, this is MajOr's worst matchup, and I only say that because I'm guessing he might watch the video. He's listening to me right now, and if I didn't say that, he'd probably come to me and be like, "Hey, no, what do you know about my PVT?" Well, Juan, your worst matchup in the stats is PVT. So he actually lost to Puck, Huck, and Stardust in his 3 latest matches, and now he's going up against a Protoss that's extremely tricky to play against. And he actually gave Teja a run for his money. He did a good job at that. Those games were pretty close. I really thought this could go either way.
But I do think that when you go up against someone like Arthur, statistics do not matter all that much in this matchup, because Arthur is such a unique Protoss player in his own way as well. You know, we often joke around how many gateways is Arthur going to drop. You know, things that Juan might struggle against in this matchup normally might be a phase in the game which we never even see when he goes up against Arthur. So we'll see. As you guys can see, we are entering our veto process right now as MajOr once more loves to be that guy that vetoes Frost. Johan, I'm in shock. This is the 2nd time in a row Frost has this red border around it.
Yeah, Teja veto it too. I guess this is a map where Protosses have become really comfortable with playing on, and I don't know, maybe specific to Arthur too. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask that to the players. Altarzim going here for MajOr. A little bit surprising. I mean, he's the macro player who likes to take a lot of bases. Then again, I feel like it's not only his strongest point, but also his weakness. We've seen that in the past. We've seen MajOr going into the very, very late game and really struggling to micro that big 200 army supply. Then again, I mean, against Arthur, is he used of this himself? He didn't really show that in the previous game that he played on Altarzim against Teja.
You know, it is tricky because yes, Arthur does have that reputation, but we don't really see a whole lot of games from him. We saw it in WCS America Season 1. We had a great idea of what to expect, and he definitely lived up to the expectations in a way that, you know, this is what we think you're going to do, Arthur, and he proved us right, which is awesome because we're not right very often. So once in a while, you know, to predict something correctly feels great. But we'll see how it's going to go this series. We see that Habitation Station was the final veto. Our first map is going to be played on Overgrowth. That means our 2nd map, Johan, is going to be played on King Seong Station, and our last map will be played on Merry-Go-Round.
Arthur didn't... he vetoed Habitation Station already against Teja. I wonder what happened to him on this map for him to start vetoing it. It's not supposed to be a bad map for Protoss in particular, but since Terrans have started taking the gold, you can get into those awkward situations a lot of the time where you don't really know what you have to do exactly to counter a gold base. Or even in a standard game, I guess Terrans have not been doing too bad either, but I don't know. I feel like it used to be a map where a lot of Protosses would feel comfortable, especially before the Widowmine buff.
But I guess it has a lot to do with his style as well. You know, I think you can also attest to this. Every now and then there might be a lot of Protoss players out there that say like, hey, I really love playing PvZ, for instance, on Yangsu, but you might be like, no, I actually hate Yangsu. And so even though like in generally it's considered a good map for your race, much rather you play on a map that you actually feel good at than what is considered to be good. And perhaps Arthur, you know, he just perhaps hates that ramp on Habitation Station because we all know he does love 2-base attacks.
So at gold base 8 gate. Hashtag Roddy build.
He has done that quite a bit. You know, that happened last season. Was it last season? Yeah, that was last season with Arthur and Jaedong in the round of 32. Man, that feels like ages ago. That was one hell of a group. It was like Bomber, Jaedong, Haas. That was the day where Haas busted out the crazy cannon rush in Poland night as well.
Do you ever take the gold base if you stand on Habitation?
I actually, if the engineering blocked me, I was like, fine. If you want to eBay block my natural, I'll take the gold and I 8-gate you. And I actually have a ridiculous high amount of success with it. At least when I used to do it. Haven't been playing it a lot because you're taking my spot.
You actually proxy target a bunch yourself, right?
Yes.
What do you think the best maps and location on Overgrowth, say, for example? Would you think we could be seeing something like that here from Arthur? I feel like Proxy's target has gotten so much weaker because almost every Terran, SCV Scout early on, and Reaper Scout most likely behind it too.
Yeah, this is not one of the maps where I would say that it's amazing or that's fantastic. You can always, let's say the Terran spawns in the left bottom side. I would build it slightly out of range of the Zelnaga Watchtower towards the fort base, so not towards the right bottom, but towards the left middle of the map. But I don't think it's something that we will see over here. MajOr, of course, is familiar with Arthur. He is definitely going to scout. That is inevitable. And it's going to be a cool series. We had the pleasure of casting MajOr in his PvT series against Spock at the Battlegrounds last week, Battlegrounds North America. He didn't play bad, but like you said, MajOr is the type of Terran that's not particularly bad in this matchup, but he has definitely struggled in the past in dealing with maxed out Protoses, or what often happens is that MajOr puts all his eggs in one basket, and then he kind of wins the fight, but he doesn't win it hard enough to win the game, and after that he has no more bank, he can't replace any Ghost or Vikings, etc., etc. But once again, I'd be surprised if we see a 2-on supply Terran in this series.
Wouldn't be surprised if MajOr tries to go for it, yeah, but Arthur is definitely going to have something to say about that. And the first game is getting on the way. Overgrowth. Let's find out what these players have in store for us. Arthur having to play 2 Terrans here. He already showed some builds against Tasia. I wonder if... I don't think you usually go for like the same build here against a MajOr who's already seen how Arthur played on this map and how you have to play to defend against it.
No, I don't think so either. Either way, it's a very important best of 3 for both of these players with a tournament live on the line. Neither of them is particularly high in the WCS ranking, so gaining a lot of WCS points would be amazing here. And of course, MajOr would love to be the first North American in a while to make it to the round of 8. It won't be easy, but we all know that he's capable of doing it. As he is our blue Terran player, spawning in the left bottom side of Overgrowth, representing Root for Root Gaming, it is MajOr.
And his opponent, he's often sad, but he might be happy if he wins this one. Playing for Team Spectre, we have Arthur.
I love how you kept the introduction simple. As someone who's playing under the idea of sad art, you can't really go all out. You have to bring it kind of mellow. I think you did that very well, Johan.
Thank you.
Well, we saw Arthur getting a little bit unfortunate on Overgrowth against Tasia, losing his first Mothership Core immediately, and of course you had to refer to it as a Roddy Mothership Core.
Yeah, you were the one who always talked about this.
Yes, but I wasn't talking about my own Mothership Cores, I was talking about other people's Mothership Core dying, Johan.
Acceptance is the first step, if you want to improve, Roddy.
You know I'm not very good at accepting a whole lot of things. And you know, it's actually funny because I often delay my Mothership Core, so it's like really counterproductive to everything you said.
Okay. No guess yet, Arthur. Okay, there we go. You had me scared here for a second. Gateway into Nexus, not really a build that you ever see against Terrans. Wouldn't go well against a Reaper opener, which is what we're gonna see here out of MajOr. I wonder if MajOr just, from there, takes example from Tasia and just tries to play like the most standard game you could ever play. And with that double gas opener here from Arthur, he's gonna be playing this very differently. This is either DT or Stargate. Where's your money on Roddy?
I think this is going to be a Stargate. This is a very weird one, but I do think this is going to be a Stargate. But we will see. As we saw that Arthur proxied his second pylon behind the middle line of it, what normally would be his third base. So needless to say, this is a little bit funky. This is a little bit weird. Perhaps, you know, MajOr might actually be a little bit surprised when he sees that probe show up in his main base. He's like, hey, I'm SUV scouting, and I haven't even seen your probe in the middle of the map. Normally we're supposed to meet each other. You scout me, I scout you. Where is this probe coming from, and why did it take such a weird direction to my base?
I think the main thing that he's going to look for here is that second pylon. If he doesn't see a second pylon, he's going to be able to realize exactly what's going on. Now, Arthur might be able to realize himself that MajOr is thinking that way, and then from there, he could just basically not cheese, not go for a Stargate, completely skip that, go for a quick second base, maybe even a quick third base. Yeah. Imagine what kind of mind game this is. But the thing is, there's going to be a Reaper allowing for MajOr to do a lot of scouting.
Yeah, good point there, Johan, because of course, you know, yes, it was a little bit of an investment, but he doesn't have to go all out with what he has done so far. He's hiding his probe behind the mineral line. Of course, this Reaper is checking around. The SUV is going to see that probe. MajOr knows exactly what is going on so far. It is important that MajOr does eventually get a bunker at home, as he doesn't have a bunker right now, and if the Stalker and the Mothership Core make their way across the map, that could actually be really annoying to deal with.
And MajOr's playing this differently than Tasia did on this map. Tasia went for the triple barracks. He's going for the quick factory, which if there was to be a Stargate and an Oracle, the Widow Mines can really help in sniping that very, very well. The thing is, Arthur, I feel like he's aborting the initial plan here. Even though he's mining 3+3, he's not going to go for a Stargate, he's not going to hide anything. I think if he goes for something now, it will be a Twilight in the back of his main.
I kind of like this by MajOr, by the way, also because Arthur is a little bit of a crazy Protoss, and there is no telling what he's going to do right now. But Arthur is definitely the type of Protoss as well that will sometimes skip detection completely, just because he doesn't really care what his opponent does. He will just say like, hey, I want to drop X amount of gates, and I just want to go all out with it. It's not the case this time, as we do see that he decides to warp in the robotics facility behind his mineral line. But, you know, I didn't really mind that call from MajOr. It's going to keep him safe against a lot of things, and those Widow Mines and the medevac will give him some map presence, so he will have a much better idea of what he's playing against.
I don't think that that Reaper is ever going to be able to get inside the main of Arthur here, so I wonder if MajOr is going to scan the main, and if he does scan the main and sees nothing, like how does he react?
No,
he would have to be really scared.
I don't think he's going to scan. I think he's going to scout with the medevac, no? Why would he scan when he's going to have units in the main base anyways?
Yeah, but I don't know, it's a little bit late. Like, it can be risky, but yeah, I guess you're right. That's usually what Terrans do in this situation. They just go forward, see what they're up against. The thing is, say, now if he was like to not scout at all and then get there and he has to meet a lot of Stalkers, if he's just a little bit out of position, goes too close to a Nexus and Photon Overcharge goes off, he's going to lose a lot and kill almost nothing. But hold on, that Reaper actually got into the main here.
Yeah, doesn't see the robotics facility yet, though, so that's a little bit tricky. He will be able to get a Widow Mine very close to the middle line, but an Observer is about to spawn. Photon Overcharge should well, he's actually not going to use it yet. Oh, it would have been so sick if the Observer actually died. And the Observer will not die for now.
I like that he saved the Photon Overcharge. At first I was like, why isn't he using it anyway? He has so much energy. I mean, he almost has double Photon Overcharge. By the time the first one would expire, he would have another one. So after saving this, he's going to be a lot more capable in a moment to basically defend very, very well. I'm surprised he hasn't taken gases on his expansion. He's going to work on that immediately. And quick Robo Bay behind this. Do you think any chance he does a 2-base Colossus timing?
Yeah, well, it would be stupid to say there's no chance in hell that he will ever do that, Johan, because after all, this is Arthur. But it's really hard to say. It's a pure prediction game for now. The Observer is a little bit out of position. Actually, he has 2 Observers, so he should be more than fine. This Widow Mine will not be able to do a lot. MajOr has to be careful. He doesn't really want to throw away any units, because the more units he throws away, the more eager Arthur might be to go for some crazy 2-base push. As we see a lot of these Marines being unloaded right now in the natural, but well, there's still no Photon Overcharge. But I do think that Arthur has enough gateway units to push this back without too many issues. Ooh, that's a sick shot of that sentry.
And those Marines are trading as well as they can against all of those Stalkers. He might take down 2 to 3 Stalkers here.
Wow, he gets the sentries, he gets 2 Stalkers over there as well, and the other Stalker is very low on HP, so yes, MajOr did end up losing those units, but it wasn't for nothing. And above all, he also forced an overcharge in the main base with that initial drop, so this wasn't all that bad, and I feel he has a pretty good idea of what he's playing against.
This is weird here from Arthur. He went for a single Forge, no Twilight, and he's not even making Colossus yet. He's not doing anything really. I wonder if he's gonna go for a 3rd base maybe, or just drop down a ton of gateways and then try and do a timing.
But the thing is, don't you think if he goes up to 3 bases now, it's going to be really hard for him to stay mobile? Well, he's sending out the probe, so perhaps that is exactly his plan. I think this is, this should open up a window of opportunity for MajOr to start dropping all over the place. Because like you mentioned, Johan, the Twilight is so late, and we all know defending against drops without blink or charge is pretty frustrating.
Yeah, he would need a lot of observers in different positions to be able to really spot those drops coming in. He's got 3 observers right now. I wonder why Arthur is not sending back that 1 observer at the natural of MajOr. You don't really need to see anything there. Maybe when the 3rd base starts, but then you would pull back. And in this case, since he's going for the 3rd base, I don't think he really cares. He's getting a Warp Prism after 1 Colossus, so I think we're going to see a Gateway Explosion, and he's going to go for the counter-attacks.
Yeah, no, he's probably just going to fake. He's going to drop a Templar Archives, and no, now he fires up Thermal Lens. Okay, now I'm starting to get really confused. Maybe he just wants to use the Warp Prism to harass a little bit.
Yes.
For a second, I thought that he was going to, pretend like he would open up with Colossus, but then never get Thermal Lens, and actually just go into High Templars very quickly and hope that MajOr would make a lot of Vikings. But it seems like he's actually pretty serious and committed about his Colossus opening.
Look at that probe on the left-hand side, playing hide and seek here after dropping down some pylons. I like those pylons on the left-hand side of the map, by the way. You can spot a lot of drops headed that way. We have a drop about to hit the main here, and no units, just the Mothership Core and the cannon in the main. Oh, the warp is... There's units inside, actually.
If only those Marines could actually
be gonna drop. Drop versus drop.
Well, this is not a fight that we see every day, but during all this, all of the units from Arthur are out of position. So MajOr is going to stim forward over here. Stim is ready. He can actually start working on this Nexus, and with those few Marauders in the mix, and I think he might be able to get this Nexus. Yeah, he's going to get it.
Did anybody order a Pulse?
Well, there we go. This is exactly what we were talking about roughly 60 seconds ago. Now, at the same time, more Marines are stimming in the main base of Arthur. Arthur is going to lose a bunch of probes. He does have a cannon there, so he will eventually be able to push this medevac away. But
oh, he lost his mothership core. He did. Yeah, so no photon overcharge. He has to remake that immediately. That means no photon overcharge for the longest time. So that drop in the main actually just was huge here. Sniping the mothership core. Basically, he's saying you're not going to have any photon overcharge anytime soon. Now, it's like MajOr can drop anytime he wants, and he's going to be even harder for Arthur to defend. Like
Arthur is in a really bad position. He doesn't really have anything going for himself. He doesn't have great upgrades. He will have Blink soon, and he has Colossus. That's the only thing. MajOr's already up in supply. He's up in workers. He's up a base. This is not how TVP is supposed to look at the 13-minute mark.
The only thing that Arthur has going for him is the vision that he has on the map. He has units everywhere, a lot of well-placed observers. But you can tell already from this game that this guy hasn't played too many macro games in his career.
Wow, Johan, the hate is real,
Why?
isn't it?
He fell apart, man. He had nothing in his main.
No, I mean, I wouldn't go that far to say that he hasn't played a whole lot of macro games in his career. But yes, perhaps getting a little overeager, trying to get away with a few more things than what you're supposed to get away with. And of course, mad props to MajOr for capitalizing on that. He's also going to intercept the Warp Prism. It was empty, but it's still really nice to snipe it in his left side. MajOr is dropping a second starport, and Johan, if he pulls SCVs with a bunch of Vikings, I don't really see a world where Arthur is going to be able to defend.
6 Vikings, though, is he enough? I guess he has an overwhelming army on the ground with 16 Marauders and 32 Marines right now. The army supply 95 to 73. But yeah, generally speaking, I feel like you should wait for at least 10 Vikings. A little bit more than 10 is always nice.
What is interesting as well is that Arthur is still on +1 attack. That's also kind of...
And he's not really starting a third base. He's going back to the roots, man.
Maybe he is actually going to attack. The third base was fake after all. It was just there to absorb damage.
It was there to die.
Yes.
I let MajOr think he's ahead.
Don't kill my probes, just kill my third base, which I never intended to use anyways. He's going to lose the pilot. MajOr might be able to pick off a Stalker or two over here, but there is a Blink, actually a forward Blink being used, so that one Stalker won't be saved. Ghost Academy is going down. MajOr is able to produce 3 Vikings at a time. And MajOr has to know, well, my opponent is still on 2 bases, then I guess all I have to do is just defend this one attack, and I'll be in a good position. Of course, Force Use is still scary. Guardian Shield is always scary, but if MajOr Vikings in a good position, Johan, he should be able to hold this.
Ooh, those units. Be careful here. MajOr not gonna waste any time. He steams. He's gonna go for it immediately. He doesn't care about getting a good engagement. This is good enough for him. He's gonna run in there. The Colossus are actually chasing like 2 units down.
Yeah, the Colossus were very exposed. 2 Colossus did go down. MajOr lost a lot of units on the left side, but it doesn't really matter as he picked off a bunch of Stalkers and he has an overwhelming army supply. Archer just wiped in 8 Stalkers, but the Stalkers, the only purpose they will serve is trying to kill Vikings. But like you said, the ground force from MajOr is still a very big issue for Arthur, who is down 44 army supply and has horrible upgrades as a Protoss.
MajOr is gonna try to chase down that army. The wrestler from Mexico, man. He's going for it. Where are you going, Colossus? Get back in here.
You should give him a badass nickname, Johan. I'm sure you can come up with something. Something terrifying in French.
Don't put me on the spot.
GG is called, and MajOr takes a very convincing Game 1 victory over here on Overgrowth. It seemed like I don't know what Arthur's original game plan was, but he was thrown off a little bit as MajOr was able to get a couple of good scouts off early on. First with the SCV, then with the Reaper. And Arthur is like, you know what, I should just go up to 3 bases. But you know, the reason why Protoss can't really do everything at the same time is because your army will not be mobile enough and you will not have enough DPS to defend at 2 locations at once. And he was just running all over the place. He was running from left to right. Despite having 3 observers, he still did not see that big hit squad from Juan in the left side. And he has to know, you know, if there's one medevac with 8 Marines on the right side of the map, you know that's not the real army of the Terran. You know that there's so much more out there. So it was a little sloppy from Arthur to just like walk from left to right with his entire army in one group.
Yeah, those were definitely not great splits here, and not good anticipation at all either. I mean, you know in this situation that on this map, your third base is just that far away from your main that you're going to have to pre-split, kind of guess where the Terran is going to be dropping. He did that a lot better previously when he was playing against Staja and Alterzim. He knew there was going to be drops headed for his natural base. And remember, when they came, actually double medivacs, he sniped those very convincingly. But now, against MajOr, it didn't look good at all. He had nothing in his main. Then he sent the Mothership Core alone that died. Didn't even use Photon Overcharge. It was just bad altogether. everything that happened.
Yeah, I think there's no need to beat around the bush. Of course, Arthur is a great Protoss player, and we've seen him play some great Protoss games in the past, but that last game was just pretty bad. Like, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Nothing that he was doing really added up. He didn't commit to the Colossus, then he made a Warp Prism, he made another Observer, and then suddenly he went back to Colossus. The one fight that he took was also his Stalkers were too exposed, the Colossus was too exposed, and he was running all over the place without an actual game plan. Upgrades made no sense either, just a random +1 attack upgrade. Nothing really came together for him, but let's not focus too much on it. Let's not nitpick. We're going to move on to our next map, which will be played on King Sejong Station, as Arthur is going to have to step it up a little bit if he wants to challenge this Mexican wrestler. Like you said, Johan, do you already have a terrifying nickname for him?
Really.
Something dangerous in French. You know, we don't speak French anyway, so anything you say, even if you say like, you know, a candlelight dinner, it probably sounds terrifying to us.
Juan le combattant.
That is a great nickname for Major. I'm gonna roll with it. if Major walks up to you in a dark alley at night and he introduces himself to him like that, I'd be terrified. I mean, you probably wouldn't be terrified because you speak French. You'd be like, "Why are you calling yourself a candlelight dinner?" And then he's like, "You just wait and see, Frenchman."
You thinking Blink on this map? Let's go back to the roots, man.
I don't know what I'm thinking yet, but what I do know is that our Red Protoss player is going to need a little bit of love and support from you guys here in the audience, as he's down 0-1 and his tournament life is on the line. Give it up for Arthur.
And his opponent, he comes from Mexico. He's a professional wrestler when he's not playing StarCraft. We have Roots, MajOr.
Also known as Johan.
Juan le combattant.
Sounds fantastic.
MajOr became your teammate recently, again for the 4th time.
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
I feel great. I felt we had to give him a hand, you know, after that devastating loss that Mexico went through just last week in the World Cup. MajOr needed some love and support, and I was like, you know what, Juan? We're here for you for Root.
Always ready to show some moral support after demolishing Mexico. Well, I guess it was a very close game.
No,
you shouldn't particularly have won, but anyway.
We had it in the bag all along, Jan. This is how the Dutch do. We don't stress out.
Gas first here for Juan le combattant. What do you make of this?
Might just be a Reaper opening into a command center, but it might also be another mine drop. I really kind of like the mine openings against someone like Arthur for all the reasons we just previously mentioned. When you open up like this as a Terran player, you will always have some map vision because you're going to bring the action to the Protoss their side of the map. And even if you don't deal a whole lot of damage, at least you figure out what you're playing against. What you do really have to worry about is that you make sure that it's not a 3 gateway opening that's actually just warping in gateway units across the map and will kill you as soon as you lose your units on their side of the map. But that is like the only tiny downside, and even if you pick up on that, then you're still going to be in a great position. So I really like if MajOr like opens up with another quick factory. I think it makes perfect sense.
I was wondering how fast he was going to scout with this, because playing with this kind of build, if you start playing a little bit blind, you know, it can be very risky against somebody like Arthur, but MajOr decided to play it very solid. He scouted for potential proxies around his natural, and now he's going to go across the map as soon as he can to see exactly what he's up against. And man, there is a lot of probe action out on the map. And those are not Huck probes, they are Arthur probes. They're going to hide tech buildings a lot of the time.
Crouching probes, hidden pylons, and dangerous targets, Johan. That's probably what's...
Tasteless will be proud.
Another good scout here by Juan. Oh, actually, could still be a fake, we never know. Keep close.
Wargate still didn't start.
He did that before as well, and that was actually on purpose because he really like fired up his Twilight in the previous series, and right after he had 50 gas, he immediately fired up Warp Gate technology. So I kind of felt like it wasn't purpose.
He's trying to time basically for Reaper to be out of position so he could get into the main with that probe, and he's actually going to get into the main.
That's a great
Burn is
scout.
about to come out, but this is going to be spotted. The starport timing is known now by Arthur. And then from there, he can decide exactly what he goes into. Usually a Robo and 3 Stalkers, like I said before, really helped dealing with this. Still no Warp Gates, Kevin.
Yeah, he's gonna fire it up right now.
Go.
You know where I think he just likes to get his Mothership Core out as soon as possible, then he fires up the Stalker. After that he gets Warp Gate technology. This was a great scout by Arthur, it really was. Of course, if that probe dies, he doesn't see as much, but he would have at least seen that there was no orbital command on the low ground, so that would have been awesome already. But now he knows. He's like, hey, you went for the quickest factory possible. You dropped your factory at like 3 minutes and 5 second mark. That's ridiculous. So from this point on, all I'm going to do is make sure that I will have detection by the time that it matters. And I should be in a good position, at least economically.
3 Marines are moving out.
He is
Does MajOr, did he watch Paul's game and think he's Bolt? Or we
Which
always
one?
see Paul do this.
Okay.
Always the 3 Marines moving out on the map when it doesn't particularly make
Yeah.
sense. I mean, he doesn't have his medivac yet, and he's keeping the rest of his Marines back at home. So I guess he's going to boost those, plus the Widow Mine that he has back at home. Maybe try to force the photon overcharge early.
I like what Arthur is doing over here, as he's just like rallying his probes to the main. Of course, it's a lot easier to defend 1 mineral line than it is to defend 2 mineral lines. The Robo is late because he went for 2 additional gates before another Robo. Good news for Major is that Arthur does not have any pylons on the other side of the map, so Major doesn't have to worry immediately about a counterattack. But he definitely has to be careful, because if Arthur doesn't lose any units here and warps in like 3 more Stalkers,
he's not going to be able to mine anytime soon from his natural, not having the Robo. It's only halfway through done, and the drop's going to be in the main. The photon overcharge might be started a little bit late. You see the Mothership Core is far away.
He has plenty of Stalkers.
But the Widow Mine is going to be burrowed, or dropped and burrowed first.
Well, Arthur needs to focus down this Widow Mine. Is he going to prioritize it? Yes, he is, but it's not going to get, a funny shot off as just 1 probe dies. But still, like,
so much time has been bought by Major already.
That's really weird, because like the scout was so perfect for Arthur. Arthur still decided to go for the 2 additional gates before the Robo, so that was, a choice which he had plenty of time to think about.
Ooh, the Observer, is he gonna get on time here to help and defend against that Widow Mine? It's gonna be close. 9 seconds, 8, 7. I should be able to get it.
Yep, he's gonna be able to kill it in time.
2 seconds away. The one natural is gonna be next, but in the meantime,
oh wow, Major picked off a pylon. That's kind of nice.
Cool snipe by Major, who's gonna start producing a lot of bioforces. This is
Arthur
really nice
like,
of a build.
Yeah, Arthur is taking a lot of time to deal with this though, Johan. Like, in all honesty, he's been running around, he's gonna lose and end up losing 1 more probe. Photon Overcharge will eventually still be casted in the main base, so he won't take any damage over here. But I feel that Arthur could have been in a much better position than he's actually in. It's not awful, as he is up in workers. He's currently up 7 workers, but I feel his stack has definitely been delayed. He's firing up Blink right now, but it's gonna take a long time before, he's saturating 2 bases. He's gonna really start producing Colossus and Blink Stalkers.
This Arthur is surprising me today. I never thought he would try for the stuff he's tried so far. Like the first series, the first game against Stasia, when he went for the Blink play. That's the Arthur we know and love, or love to hate. But
depends if you play Protoss or not.
Yeah. But he's tried to play in a lot of macro games, and he hasn't found any success in those. It kind of reminds me of Stardust. Stardust. He has this reputation of being a cheeser, but then he plays some of the most beautiful macro games you're ever going to see from a Protoss.
I do feel...
He gets interviewed and he's like, I only did that because people call me a cheeser, so I wanted to prove them that they're wrong. It feels like Arthur is trying to do the same, except without any success.
Well, I do think that Arthur made the decisions this game based on what he scouted. I think if it would have just been a Reaper with a command center on the low ground, if that's what the probe would have scouted, I think we may have seen like a different playstyle from Arthur.
Double
but
drop.
Now he was kind of forced into it. There is indeed a double drop going on. Photon Overcharge goes down in the main. Look at that probe. That's well done by Arthur. Separates 1 probe from the rest of the pack so that 1 probe can take the jump on the grenade for the team. Still though, these Marines are still picking up quite a few workers. Arthur thought that he'd taken care of this drop, but these Marines actually killing a few more units than they were supposed to.
He gets the Observer.
Wow, even getting the Observer as well, which is super annoying because now that Widow Mine is probably going to shoot again.
There is no other Observer out for Arthur.
Oh my god, all of the probes are so clumped up. Wow, Arthur.
He's gonna reload.
He's gonna lose a lot. I think 4. He's gonna... Major could have spammed that and he could have gone for the probes. Instead he gets the Stalker.
He hasn't... I feel like Major could do a much better job of targeting with Widow Mines,
But still, at the end of the day, yes, Major lost a few units there, but that was definitely worth it, as now he's only down 4 workers, or 4 to 6, but he's like once again has delayed attack from Arthur quite a bit. While Major is getting closer and closer to that phase in the game where he will produce nothing but bio units, and of course eventually he'll get Vikings as well. He has that 3rd command center already halfway done. I feel Arthur wants to stay on 2 bases for a while.
In the main. Ambitious medivac, he's gonna die here.
Okay, 4 more gates being wiped in as well, Johan. Arthur is just going to run across the map with Blink Stalkers and Colossus and try to win this game on 2 bases.
He's still making probes, though. This is a bit weird. He hasn't started a 3rd Colossus, which you need to start as soon as possible, regardless of if you want to hit the timing or not. So you can tell Arthur is being thrown off his game from all this aggression.
I love what Major is doing over here, running around with a bunch of Marines on the south side of the map, and he will pick up that pylon. But there is another probe hidden extremely close to his command center. It's going to be important that he finds it. This is also a brilliant moment for Major to drop the main base of Arthur. Arthur is marching across the map with Blink Stalkers. Major is... Oh, he could have dropped those units in the main base. Instead, he's going to run into the natural.
And he's getting bunkers back at home. He knows that the possibility of a counter-attack here is very, very real, but he looks like Arthur wants to walk back home.
Arthur forces or casts his photon overcharge in the natural, which means that the main base is going to be very exposed, and Arthur does not have enough damage output right now to deal with all these stimmed bio units in his main base. A couple of these Stalkers will get picked off, a lot of probes will fall, maybe the Nexus even. Arthur has turned around with all of his Colossus, Blink Stalkers and whatnot, but is it going to be in time to save the Nexus? Well, I guess it is, but you know, at what cost? He lost so many units. He does pick up most of these bio units though.
Arthur trying to defend here instead of just going for the all-in. I feel like he should definitely have gone for an attack here. All-in, man, that's what you were born to do. What you were meant to do. It's like that time you tried to play Night Elf in Warcraft. It just didn't work out, man. You were meant to play Orc.
Me?
Yeah.
I played Night Elf pretty successfully, man. My Night Elf versus Orc on Twisted Meadows, legendary, Johan. I had Game of the Year against Focus. I'm sure you forgot about that, hater.
Yes. I actually never saw it. So
it was a great game. It was one of the best games I've ever played with my off race. I was very proud. Either way, state of the game is still that this is going good for MajOr, as Arthur is just not really able to get things together. He's not dictating the pace of the game. He doesn't have a clear game plan. He doesn't have a clear goal in this game. He's kind of running around. Every now and then you feel like he wants to commit to something, but then he's forced to change his mind again because MajOr is making a lot of right plays.
The lack of upgrades really scares me for Arthur here. Being 0-0 at this point in the game at 14 minutes, where some Protosses will be close to 3-3 Roti. This is not good. But MajOr, on the other hand, is not doing too well with his upgrades himself. He's just got +1 attack. He's getting +1 armor now. He has no armory just yet. No second E-base. So this is a low-tech game, I guess you could call it. Like no quick storm, no quick ghost or anything of the kind.
But the biggest problem is that Arthur is down in workers and he's down a base against a Terran with triple orbital, and that is just not the situation you ever want to find yourself in as a Protoss.
And double starport, by the way.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Arthur can definitely just defend from this point because he already has Blink, he has Colossus, he has plenty of force fields to work with. So it's not like, you know, there's no way that Arthur is ever going to win this game. But he's going to have to sit back, or as you like to say, take a chill pill and just defend for a little while. Because if he thinks about attacking right now, he's going to get dropped again, he's going to lose his economy, he's going to lose his infrastructure, and he will not win the game with an attack in the next 2 minutes. It's just, there's almost no way.
The double force spinning, man. Arthur could really do some catching up. He could really make some use of some good catching up. Good Colossus counts, actually. He's on 4 with a 5th on the way. He has enough Stalkers to defend very well against... Oh, actually, he's moving out. He took out... That
was MajOr who took out the debris.
After MajOr took that out.
Arthur has units in position for this third base, but he doesn't see these units just yet. Marauders are not going to commit to anything because they're afraid of Blink Stalkers sniping down Medevacs. Arthur is actually doing a much better job right now than he did on Overgrowth. But now he moves down southwards. MajOr sees a window of opportunity. He's going to click on the Nexus, and exactly like you said, Johan, who has ordered a bunch of bolt? Well, MajOr did. He ends up losing a lot of bio units, but I would still say it was worth it. You know, killing a Nexus in this phase in the game, slowing down the gas income of Arthur, make sure that MajOr doesn't have to worry about quick storm or something like that. I'd say it was probably worth it, but it wasn't free.
I really feel like I thought that Arthur was in a much worse position than he actually is in. Like right now he has some observers on the map. Both of them, or both of the observers that are far away, they are actually in front of... now he's moving one of them now. Away from the natural of... MajOr. They need to be closer to his base to see any kind of army splitting, a drop possibly headed for the main. The +2 attack has started now for Arthur, and MajOr is already getting 2 to himself. So it's still fairly even.
Yeah, if I was Arthur, I'd really drop a Templar Archive soon. Like, it really stinks, of course, losing that third Nexus, but there we go. He does drop it immediately in the back of his base because he already has charge, he already has Blink, and with 2 upgrades on the way, you know, what's the best way to complement that? Indeed, the Templar Archives. So in that regard, I still felt it was a good move for MajOr to snipe that Nexus, as he will still be able to max out before Arthur is. Arthur is trying to get a few pylons out on the map, but MajOr says no.
I really feel like with a good SCV pull here, MajOr could have done very well because he has so many Vikings, and I feel like this might be one of his weaknesses. He almost, I don't think I've ever seen MajOr SCV pull, or not that often against Protoss. Would have been a good way to, I don't know, win the game or maybe gain a lead.
I love how Arthur is doing. Arthur sees his army of Major, but he's pretending like he hasn't seen it yet. And he doesn't really show his real army, so he's kind of telling Major, like, yeah, please go for it, please stim up this ramp, as I have plenty of units in position to actually catch it, this time keep my Nexus alive. But there is another very big force from Major running across the map, and this is a deadly moment for Arthur to fight. Yes, he has charge, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of Zealots out on the map. How many Zealots are we looking at? He has 10, so
oh, big drop in the main.
Okay. Yeah, and this really stinks because he doesn't have feedback, he doesn't have Storm yet. How is he not going to lose a base over here?
He sends
Johan?
everything in the main except... Okay, no, he's coming back with most of his army. He tried to dispatch enough units to defend that in the main.
The Colossus is so exposed, so Vikings doing some real work. 2 Colossus went down already. The Stalkers have no DPS to mess with this Stim bio. Only 1 Colossus still alive. Now there are a bunch of Archons over here, but Archons without any support are also not fantastic. Another Colossus goes down, and the final Colossus is going down as well. Even though Major is hitting some sort of an end. Wow, what are the Vikings doing? They just ignore that Colossus.
Major attacked just before his 2-2 completed. 2-2 is completing now. He lost his entire army.
Nah, he still has bio units on the left side as well. He has a lot of units streaming across the map. The Vikings are still alive. He lost a lot of ground units, but no. Don't you think it's worth it resetting like 5 Colossus?
Before 2-2, I don't know, man. I feel like if he had waited a bit more. The thing is, like I said, in the longer the game goes, I feel like Major is gonna lose the way he's comfortable, you know, with like any amount of units. As soon as he has too many units to manage, I feel like he struggles a lot more. So when he starts getting Ghost, which is what he needs to be doing now, it's going to be a lot more difficult for him to be able to win against something like a lot of Archons and Templars, plus having to deal with the Colossus of his opponents.
But I also think it's safe to say that as you're going to see a little bit of Viking res over here, why not? Vikings actually have ridiculous DPS. A lot of these probes going down immediately. Has to be careful though, doesn't want to lose all of his Vikings as the Colossus production is still rolling. I believe we have 1 out on the map. At the same time, bio units are working on this robotics facility, and if he kills it, that means no more Colossus for a while. That is a great pickup by Major. Like, I completely agree with you, Johan, but I feel that Major is very good when he's maxed out on like Marines, Marauders and Medevacs. Yeah. I feel he's not good when he's maxed out on Vikings and Ghosts, and there's not really any opportunity for him to do something.
So you're saying his Ghost control is awful, basically?
Not necessarily. I feel that he's good in spreading a Protoss all over the place, because then he can excel in multitasking much rather than sitting back on this one big powerful army and not doing anything with it.
Trying to go for a little nice snipe here. Maybe able to get that on the Templars. I don't know what's going on with Arthur's third base, but there is some kind of weird wall with the gateways that he's made there. And Photon Overcharge still up in the main here, helping and defending. Major being on the 4th base here and already walking on 5th is a big deal. I feel like if he plays this well, he's never going to allow Arthur to take a 4th base, which is what he needs to be looking to do here. But man, there's so many Zealots. How is... You're going to need some sick micro to be able to deal with this many Zealots.
The next fight is going to be trickier though for Major, because this time there will be Storm. And yes, there are a bunch of Ghosts on the map as well. We currently have 4 Ghosts, but we all know that Protoss with Colossus and Storm is so much more scary. Arthur did immediately remake his robotics facility, so he's still pumping out Colossus. Doesn't really have a whole lot of them, but as long as you have a little bit of both, there is a chance that either you leave the fight with enough Colossus or with enough High Templars.
Is Arthur trying to hit the timing on that planetary before it completes?
That would be a bad idea, I think.
Major is set up the ramp. He's gonna need some good EMPs against this many Zealots.
And the High Templars are of course a little slower as well, so they were not part of this party yet. Good forward blink there by Arthur. Picks up a Viking before the fight starts. This is a much better position for Arthur. Oh, EMP hits all of the High Templars though. Maybe you have like 1 Storm remaining, but that was a sick EMP from Major.
That last Colossus with 8 hit points, man. The race has not gone extinct yet. I guess he's restarted production of Colossus. And Major is about to complete 3-3. Arthur just got his.
6 snipe there. 6 snipe with the Marauders. Got 1 hit off on these Colossus, but the new Colossus arrives. More EMPs will land. There is 1 more Archon that's going to soak up quite a bit of damage. Still a very even fight, which means that I don't think that Arthur can break Major up a ramp, especially not with the planetary there. But this Colossus is actually causing a lot of trouble, and there is only a single Viking out on the map right now.
He needs the PF to help support this. No 4th base still for Arthur, who's not that rich anymore. There's no money left in the main, not much in the natural.
There's still 2 Medevacs in the left up side of the map. Pretty fun, good snipe over there from the high ground. But these 2 Medevacs in the left up side of the map, Major could really use them either defensively or just like drop with those 3 Marines that are still stuck in it. Because Arthur right now is using all of his units to attack. Doesn't really have anything at home.
Could go for the bottom left here. Bottom left hand side base, but it will be seen by that 1 Marine at the watchtower. 2 Marines actually trying to deny that base on the left hand side. Oh, MajOr getting a little bit too crazy here with the aggression onto that army. I feel like he needs to wait a lot more.
I feel Arthur is doing this really well. He's keeping this Colossus away from the Vikings. Good forward blink that snipes the Vikings once more. Resetting that Viking count is so important. MajOr is producing them 4 at a time. So it's not over yet. MajOr still has a little bit of time, but more Archons are on the way. There is still a couple of Storms available as well. The first time Arthur made a big mistake, letting all of his High Templars being EMP'd at once. But after that, his army control was actually pretty damn good in that fight, Johan.
I'm surprised that MajOr forgot about those 2 medivacs on the top left-hand side, above the main. Oh, Arthur, is he going for it? I think he's really considering it here, but right now he's just trading with the Storms against this army.
Has to be careful. MajOr's doing a really good job in avoiding these Storms from doing deadly damage. At the same time, MajOr's dropping this fort base, killing a lot of probes, sniping that Nexus as well. Like you said before, Johan, it's really important that MajOr doesn't allow Arthur to go up to 4 bases. MajOr can't afford to throw away all these bio units though. Like, yeah, he's getting some work with them done. I hope he realizes that he still has 2 medevacs in the left up side of this map. But Arthur, with these 3 Colossus, if he kills the planetary, like he doesn't even... Okay, this double planetary over here.
MajOr, he's lost more units than his opponent in this game. He's up to 24,000 units lost against just 19,000, but
he's mining
2
so
bases
much
up.
more.
Yeah, he's mining so much more that it doesn't matter.
And even if he loses this planetary, he's still up a base. There's no observer in this army actually, so these cloaked ghosts can do some serious work. There are still a lot of Vikings. Planetary will fall eventually, and that is a fantastic storm raining all over these bio units. But is it going to be enough for Arthur? Like, he has to be careful. He has to keep his army together, because now the Zealots are running away from the rest of the pack. Look at this one ghost, by the way. It's like doing some work on... This ghost is going to kill all the Colossus all by himself. It's going to take a little while. Vikings getting juicy shots off, and I feel if these Colossus die, I think MajOr can still do it. Great positioning with these bio units on top of the ramp. Look at the snipe. Great snipe there as well. One High Templar full of energy dies because of that cloaked ghost.
Ooh, he unpowered a lot of those gateways, but Arthur, his army is still looking very, very strong here.
But he has no observers. He has 1 observer on the map. I don't know where it is. In the middle of nowhere, actually. So Cloaked Ghost should be able to save the day here for MajOr.
Man, Arthur, this is his last few units here. He needs to make this work somehow. He's gonna start losing a lot of probes on his side of the map. Still no force base for him. MajOr is still mining fully from the fourth base.
6 Storm though, raining over all of these remaining bio units, but even like if MajOr right now just uses control F2, I still think he's going to be able to stabilize in his main. 2 Archons and a bunch of Stalkers and a Zealot. He should be able to clean that up. Especially, you know, this medevac with these bio units inside of it, that's very precious cargo now. That should already be enough. Archons derping there a little bit, only one of them shooting at the same time.
And Arthur has no income. He has 200 in income. I think MajOr has done it here. I thought Arthur might be able to pull a little bit of a Netherlands versus Mexico here, but it's not going to happen.
What do you mean? We had that game in the bag all along, Johan.
Not even you believe that.
No, I know. I was very happy. I screamed like a girl when we scored. A couple of feedbacks landing on these medevacs. You know, Arthur might be able to pick off one of these medevacs with the Archon, but this doesn't matter. Like you said, he has no income. He has 28 probes left. There is still a planetary fortress in the left bottom side. He has no units to really jump on top of these Marauders as well. Like, MajOr can kite this army of Arthur for days.
Yeah, he could even fly some of his command centers to bases. At this point, for Arthur, the only chance is hitting like the most perfect storms he's ever hit in his life, and even that might not even be enough.
To be honest, he had a couple of fantastic storms this game, a couple of excellent storms. Gonna try to snipe the Mighty Core there. Good time up by Arthur. Second time up is good as well, but the medevacs will save the day for now, and you can't run up that ramp, Arthur. That is not a good idea. Well, that is a good storm, but in the end, you know, units just trickling in one by one. That is not going to do it.
MajOr's being very patient.
Yeah,
he's playing this well.
Playing this very, very beautifully.
A lot of Terrans would have moved down that ramp, and that's not a pretty thing when that happens. And running out of storms here. Yeah, 2 or 3 storms left.
MajOr doing such a phenomenal job in like baiting out these storms as well. Yep. Yeah, but I mean, he's kind of forced because he has no units to actually catch up. So he's forced to drop a storm that he doesn't want to do. And MajOr is doing a really good job in forcing Arthur to storm. This is like a whole new level of meta forcing things, but you know, it's working for MajOr, and for Arthur, things are looking darker and darker. He's still mining of 1 base, so it's not all over, but...
Ooh, some ghosts are there. Yeah. So funny, there was no Templars left. MajOr is like, that's my cue. He goes down the ramp, sees 1 Templar, pulls back for a bit, but now he's gonna get the fight that he needs to finish the game, I think.
Is there a storm? No, there's no storm available, so most of these Zealots will just almost die immediately. There are 3-3 upgrades though, so they're doing a pretty good job.
He dropped some orders on top of those Archons that didn't go well, but MajOr, I do think he's gonna have enough to win the game here.
Yeah, he should. I mean, the Archons are good, but the Archons need something else to support them. All three of these Archons are extremely low in HP. It's always so deceiving with their green HP bars, but all three of them will fall, and GG is called. And this, unfortunately for Arthur, means the end of his WCS America Premier League run. But it's good news for all the Mexican fans out there, and of course all the fans of Juan in general, that our Route 10 player is still alive and is still in the running for one of those slots in WCS America Premier League round of 8.
Very nicely done here by Juanito. I wasn't sure he was going to do that well. Like I said, statistically, it's his worst matchup, and he was going up against a Protoss that's so hard to read. But in this series, I felt like Arthur was just trying to play a style that doesn't particularly fit him. He was trying to take too many bases. His defense wasn't there against a Major who was on top of those drops every single time, whose multitask is just beautiful, and macro never slips.
I couldn't agree more, but I really think that's also mostly we have to give props to Juan for that. I feel that Juan forced Arthur to play a certain way. He didn't give him freedom. Juan wasn't sitting back and not scouting. No, Major was out on the map. Major was out, always scouting, always checking for things, and kind of forcing Arthur to play a style that he's perhaps not all that comfortable with. And you could really see, especially on Overgrowth, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I think King Seong was a lot better from Arthur, but still a couple of times a little indecisive. Should I go for it? Should I run back? All right, I might as well just macro. I go up to double forges and stuff. Juan just playing it very well, using that additional income that he had. Yes, he was throwing away a lot of units, but it was okay because he never gave Arthur a super comfort zone of just maxing out on upgrades, getting Storm, and getting a lot of gateways, getting vision all over the map, getting 4 bases. Arthur was always just kind of barely hanging in there, and I think Juan did a very good job with that.
I mean, on this map, when you're in the middle of the map, about to attack a Terran, and then you get dropped in your main, I don't know too many Protosses that will actually pull back. And I might be one of them saying that.
But you pointed out so well that during that attack, Major was already preparing. He's like, I'm going to sacrifice my 3rd base. I'm going to fly over the orbital. Some SCVs might die. But if you are going to go all the way across the map, if you want to go all out, if you want to all in me right now and ignore the damage that I will do to you in your main base, then I'm going to defend in my natural. And he was throwing up bunkers. He was preemptively pulling SCVs. So I'm not even sure if the all-in would have worked.
Yeah, it would have been very tough to make work. And
Major was very happy on his side. He was nodding furiously. He's like, you know what? They're onto something, Johan.
He's not through yet.
No, he's not there yet.
He's gonna have to win one more match, as we're gonna have our winners match up next. How excited are you for this one, man?
I think it's going to be sick. We're going to find out if Tasia still remembers how to call GG if he loses a game. Because, don't be shocked if Tasia loses a game without GG. It's been so long that he lost the map that he might just, feel totally out of his comfort zone and he just forgets what you are supposed to do in those last final seconds. That happens to you every now and then as well.
Every game, actually. Every game that I lose.
Either way, it's going to be awesome. We're going to head over to a very small break. And after that, we'll be back with a crazy TVZ between Violet and Liquid Stasia. Should be awesome. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.